it's all an experiment at this point. You know, I was told I was arguably maybe not ever playing tennis again. So, I mean, realistically, I can't really see myself probably playing singles again here.
Nick Kyrgios is a name that's polarized the tennis world and a player whose talent is only matched by his controversies. But now a question is starting to emerge. Is it time for Nick Kyrgios to retire? With the amount of losses and the amount of withdrawals from matches he's been facing, it's starting to look like it's a possibility. With being knocked out on home turf at the Australian Open, Kyrgios was defeated in straight sets. But then in March, during the Indian Wells Masters, he had to retire due to a wrist injury. And all of this just leads up to that same question. And that question is the person that brought culture to the sport going to retire? Nick's story began on April 27th, 1995. He was raised in a very diverse household, with his father being Greek and his mother Malaysian. And something that many people don't know is that his background had royalty. Growing up in a predominantly white suburb, he often felt different. He later recalled in an interview, "I felt like I was on the outside, especially when I got into tennis, a sport where nobody looked like me." This statement set the stage for someone who would eventually have global attention for his talent and his style. During his early childhood from 2000 to 2008, Nick struggled with being overweight and being ridiculed for his skin colour. This may have influenced his behaviour later on in his tennis career. Fast forwarding a few years to 2009, and now his raw talent was starting to be seen, but so was his fiery temper. His coaches witnessed something that they would never see again in their life, and that was someone who didn't care about tennis, yet had all the talent in the world to make it to the top.
He combined his talent with an incredible amount of hard work and determination, and that's why at 17 he was #1 in the world in his age group.
And by 2010, Nick faced one of the toughest decisions of his life, choosing between basketball, which was an early escape from his life pressures, and tennis, the game that demanded everything from him. And then, with a bit of persuasion from his parents, Nick decided to let go of basketball. But just imagine this, a sport that has helped you to overcome so many things in your life at such a young age, and now you just have to let it go. But with that decision came a mounting pressure to perform at the highest possible level.
I looked at myself, I was like, I can't do this. I have to somehow change these habits. So, and I had self-harm everywhere. I had to wear an arm sleeve on centre court of Wimbledon. And no one knew any of these problems. And it was hard. And I look back and I just don't know how I got out of it.
As the years went on, Kyrgios entered development programs. The isolation of moving away from home to Melbourne began to take its toll, and the transition to a life of training and unexpected loneliness started to hit him hard. Nick later reflected on that period, saying, "People don't understand that mental pressure. From the outside it looks like a dream, but inside it was breaking." It shows that not only was Nick experiencing this, but so was thousands of other tennis players around the world. In 2013, after winning the Australian Open boys singles title and turning professional, a bit of hope ignited in him. Yet amidst all of this, his turbulent childhood still lingered behind him, and this was starting to be shown as the years progressed. This may not have come as a shock to anyone, but to Nick, it may have damaged his entire career. That's my game style.
Nick Kyrgios continues to burst from his chrysalis and gatecrash the elite of the tennis world with a fantastic, nerveless display of scintillating tennis that he sustained for close to 3 hours and 4 sets.
And we could see his aggressive playstyle working really well for him, as it seemed to come so naturally. But so did playing in front of huge crowds and experiencing that rush of adrenaline.
I just remember seeing the doors open real slowly and I saw every blade of grass the same length and I just walked out there and it was just like home. And then that was it.
This victory marked the start of an incredible journey where his raw power and attitude set him apart from the rest of the ATP Tour. 2015 was a defining year for Nick Kyrgios, as his on-court behaviour became a critical talking point. During this period, his gameplay was marked by impressive, high-risk shot-making alongside moments of uncontrollable temper and clashes with officials. This outburst forced a brief delay in the play as officials stepped in, but this incident was so widely reported, highlighting how great his talent was, but often conflicted with his challenges, and even his coaches used to and still do talk about this in his game, and how it's such a flaw.
What he's doing is absolutely the opposite. He shows his emotions, positive and negative. He's interacting with the crowd. He's making tennis look like a big entertainment.
However, in the following year, Kyrgios was climbing the ranks and reached a career high of 13 while picking up several ATP titles. He recognized his strengths and his weaknesses, saying, "I know I have the ability, but controlling my frustration is what I need to work on." Commentators acknowledged his high potential, but warned that his inconsistent mindset could hold him back from sustained success. But then, in 2017, his results were marked by sharp contrasts. Kyrgios experienced both notable wins and frustrating losses. He confessed, "There are days where I feel on top of the world and days where I feel like everything's falling apart." And people recognized that this could have been a result of his turbulent childhood. And so because of this, Nick locked in, being able to qualify for nearly every Grand Slam in 2019 and all major tournaments. However, the next few years for Nick and many other tennis players were extremely tough. In 2023, injuries became a critical issue as he had to undergo knee surgery and a broken wrist.
You're not going to be able to play mixed, I take it, with Venus?
Look, it's heartbreaking, honestly. You know, I haven't had that much fun in a long time, and you know, I just got goosebumps thinking the fact that I might have to tell Venus Williams that I can't play mixed doubles because of an injury it's brutal.
Commentators said that the physical toll on Nick now raises tough questions about the longevity of his career. So with being knocked out of all major tournaments this year and sustaining career-ending injuries, everyone is wondering if the man who brought culture to tennis is going to retire.